If you want to see how I got a $20 engine bay paint job to come out like this, please stick around for the end of the video. Hope you like it. Alright guys, so today's Sunday morning. What I've been working on, let's see, yesterday I somewhat stripped the engine bay. I peeled everything off of the driver and passenger side, like the harnesses, even off the core support. I'm not really messing with the firewall, because what I plan on doing is just spray painting this with the factory color. I was thinking about doing some crazy engine bay color to make it pop, but it would be easiest just to get the factory. It's called Clover Green Pearl, and it actually looks pretty good. So I'm just going to go try and source a couple cans of Duplicolor Clover Green Pearl and go over it with some like rattle can clear coat. Not even the 2K stuff. I'm just going to get some straight up off the shelf clear coat, because I mean it's just the engine bay. This car ain't a show car or nothing like that. This is what we're working with, and really what I'm thinking is the most important pieces are going to be from like the strut towers to the front, left and right, and then the core support and like above the headlights and stuff, because that's really all you're going to be able to see. With the motor in here, you don't really see, you know, the firewall too much anyway. I did get rid of the evap canister, the charcoal canister, whatever you want to call it. I do plan on doing a fuel filter. It's like a delete. It gets rid of this big bulky fuel filter, and you use this little thin inline fuel filter. I think it's like a 4AN or 6AN or something like that. Looks a lot cleaner. I did fully get rid of the AC lines. I did clean up some of the power steering stuff that was left over, because I don't know if you saw my last video, I did finally have time to pull the motor out. I'm going to go through it. I still need to source a Z6 crankshaft. I might be getting ahead of myself, but I just want to get ready for when I do, because it seems like they pop up on eBay kind of out of nowhere. I noticed Nippon Racing, if that's how you say it, it's Nippon. Sometimes they'll offer a Z6 crank on eBay. It's like $250 bucks, but as soon as they pop up, they sell really quick. They have the Y7 and Y8 cranks all day, but I really want the Z6 or an A6. A6 is even better. So I just want to be ready for whenever that sale does come up. But if it doesn't, you can source a Z6 or A6 crank from your local parts store, like AutoZone, O'Reilly, stuff like that. But the only thing about that is they're reground crankshafts. They've gone over all the journals, and they come with a set of bearings that are oversized to match the reground crank, which a lot of people don't say they're perfectly fine. They have no problem with it. They're about the same price, about $250. The only benefit about the Nippon Racing crankshaft is their factory journal sizes, which is nice, because if I do mess up the factory journal size, then it can be reground and then use oversized bearings versus screwing up an already reground crankshaft. But I did actually find a shop locally that can weld and repair crankshafts, because I was telling my buddy at work how these Y7s, Y8s, they have problems with their crankshafts or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, I got this place that can rebuild them, but I didn't want to waste the time or effort in fixing Y series crankshafts over and over and over again. So I just need to jump to a Z6, and if the Z6 messes up, maybe I'll see what the shop is about. So yeah, let's go find some Clover Green paint and some cheap clear coat and get this thing cleaned up. Alright, just got back from the store. So instead of using like a degreasing solution or whatever, I'm just going to use some brake clean. It's cheaper and it does the same, if not better. I have done this before. Some people say it leaves like chemicals behind, blah, blah, blah. But I guess make sure it says leaves no residue. I have good luck with the O'Reilly brake cleaner. Paint sticks to whatever I clean this off with just fine. Not all of them say leaves no residue, so that might be the issue there. But yeah, this stuff is actually only $2.50 a can. It used to be more than that. It was on sale. So yeah, I'm just going to give it a quick spray on all the places that are going to be most obvious. You know, basically all this, the core support. And the more you care about your car, probably the better you should mask or prep. But honestly, I don't care too much about this thing, so I'm kind of doing a half-ass job, but we'll see how it comes out. Alright, I went ahead and hosed it off after I got done brake cleaning it. So let's go ahead and let this dry. And let's see here. Unfortunately, they did not have 2 cans of Clover Green Pearl. This is what I needed. I needed 2 of these. The paint code's G95. But they did have a can of this Ford stuff. What do they call this? Deep Jewel Green Metallic. But if you look at the caps side by side, they're so close. I think it's going to be really hard to tell the difference. Maybe I could do a little blending. Like do one side left, one side right, kind of meet in the middle. But it's, like I said, it's just the engine bay. It's not super critical. And of course, every time I try and record, there's like a plane or a fire truck going by. Damn. Alright, let's see how good we can get this to come out. Okay, so since this is just green on top of green, mainly it's just we're focusing on coverage, not necessarily protection. So we can get away with as thin a coat as we can get, as long as the color looks good and it has good coverage. If you're going a different color on top of green, like for example, if you're trying to go for like green to white or green to yellow, it's going to take a lot more paint. Just because paint is actually pretty transparent, especially stuff like this is really thin. It takes more coats. Cheaper stuff I've noticed tends to be thinner. Except for Rust-Oleum. Rust-Oleum is really thick. That's what I've noticed. But yeah, I'm just gonna try and make this last as much as I can. This is the Clover Green. I think the driver's side is more visible, as well as the core support. So I'm gonna put the Clover Green on there, and then probably put the Ford junk on this side. Yeah, let's see what we can do. Oh yeah, this paint's real thin. Again, it's just about trying to get the color, just getting coverage. Not trying to lay it on thick for protection, just making it look the same. Yeah, see these little white spots? It's having a hard time covering those. But of course, laying on top of the green is no problem. Yeah, you can see all this, so I want that nice and covered. Do like the color though. The duplicate color stuff matches really, really good. I did a fender in this stuff. If you didn't see that, maybe I can link that down below. But for a second, I had thought about going white, but before I did that, I actually repaired one of the fenders and just used duplicate color Clover Green Pearl with 2K clear in a can, and man, that fender came out really good, especially after I buffed it. These cans are really small, they don't go a long ways. Painting right over my coilovers, shows you how much I care. Getting a little bit closer to get thicker. I'm trying to go far away to let like the metallic kind of settle, but it's not covering fast enough and the overspray is getting wasted. Yeah, this stuff is very, very thin. It is coming out, it looks great, but it's having a hard time covering up the white spots, the scratches that went through the primer. Oh well, not a big deal. Feels like the can's already almost out. Got one more can. I feel like that shut tower is pretty important. That's going to stand out. This whole corner is going to stand out. Might use the rest on the core support because that's going to be real obvious. Okay. It's coming out real good. So I'm not really letting it dry between coats because I'm going so light with it. But that's maybe like 3 or 4 light passes, and it's finally starting to get good coverage. I'm probably halfway through the can already. All this stuff looks like junk, but I can't see none of that behind the bumper. I'm not really too worried about that. Like I said, I'm trying to get what's going to be obvious when you're looking under the hood once the engine's in here. This row's a little nasty. Let me get that. But one thing's for sure is that this is going to be a lot better than what it was. For sure. Oh yeah, this quarter is going to come out good, I can tell. Same thing with the core support. They finally got coverage over here on the deep scratches. Alright, I'm really happy with the way the core support in that corner came out. Pretty much used up the whole can already. Just doing this small amount, it's basically gone. It's $10 a can, man. It's pretty much a ripoff. If you go on Amazon, you can actually find color-coded can paint, you know, that matches your original paint code. It's basically twice the size, but it's like $20-25, but it's actually good quality stuff. I'm not saying that this is bad, it's just there's a lot better options out there, that's for sure. But this is, you know, what you can do right now, right off the shelf. You can go out and do this project, you know, at a, you know, moment's notice. You don't have to order stuff and wait for stuff to come in the mail, blah blah blah, all that. I'm gonna use it the last bit, just get kind of crazy with it in this corner. Oh, another thing that's kind of good about doing light coats is if you do get trash or debris in here, it's easier to repair it or touch it up when it's a thin coat versus like you lay it on real thick and you get a bug in there. That kind of screws it up more than if you're doing light coats, because they do dry a lot faster. I am not like a freaking spray paint expert. I'm just kind of talking out of my ass and from what I've seen and what I've experienced. This is basically how good can we get a half-assed engine bay paint job to come out. I thought this can was dead. It keeps coming. I mean, if I would have known it would have lasted that long, I probably could have done both sides. But I was kind of just had the idea that I was gonna have to use it up on one. I didn't think it would last that long. So I'm going to go ahead and crack open the second can of the Ford green and kind of touch up this area and maybe any dry spots or anything I missed over here. Maybe get the inside of the core support. I noticed I didn't get that because that is pretty visible from the engine bay when you're looking down. But yeah, it's coming out good. Still got to lay on some clear coat. That's going to lock it in and protect it, because that's going to be a thin, unprotected coat. It's going to get scratched real easy. This stuff isn't real durable. Alright, but I'll be right back. Man, I actually had enough to do the front of the core support, because I wasn't really going to be worried about that because you can't see it. But I finished that side. That side's good. The core support has plenty of paint, plenty of coverage. So I'm just using up the last bit to get some of these missed spots in the front of the support. So 2 cans, green on top of green, is plenty. But like I said, if you're doing a color change, you're gonna need probably twice the amount of paint, maybe even some primer to get that color to really stick. That's one of the reasons I just wanted to do green on top of green, because I knew it'd be easier, faster, more forgiving, things like that. So we're almost ready to lay on a can of clear. And as far as clear, all I did is grab a full-size can of Duplicolor lacquer clear. See how this stuff performs. Just an engine bay, not a big deal, because typically I get a lot of hate in my videos. You know, I should use 2K, should use this, that, but I just don't really care, to be honest. I'm just, like I said, let's see how good we can get this to come out while doing a half-ass job. So let's clear coat this thing. Okay, so this is before, driver's side corner. Lock that in your head so we can get a good before and after. Here's the core support. This is all before. Paint is dry. Yeah, paint on my latch. This is the driver's side, but this side's in the shadow, so you can't really see too good. So, alright, let's go ahead and clear coat it. And I'll probably be like right here to get a before and after and kind of show you the core support too. Let's get to it. Alright, here we go. Just like spray painting color base coat, I like going on thin, getting full coverage, and then do a couple coats like that, and then at the last coat or two, that's when I go heavy. Try to get a good shine, make it look slick. But right now, it's kind of just about coverage. So right now I'm finishing up the can, and right now I'm going for the gloss and the shine I was telling you about. It's easier to go on thick on flat panels versus vertical panels up and down, because then you can get runs. So here in the core support, it's probably safe to go really thick. Should be fine. But again, if you go too thick, you can get like solvent pop, and it could start doing weird things. So you just have to kind of get used to how whatever you're spraying behaves. But man, it's coming out good for a half-ass job. Shoot. That's a little dry right there. There we go. Alright, well, I'm just going to use up the last of this can, and then I'm going to let it dry up, and then come back and show you all the end result. Alright, here we go, guys. Here's the end result after it's been clear coated. There's the driver corner, nice and shiny. Here's the core support. I could have laid it on a little bit thicker, maybe just that clear coat isn't very glossy, but it isn't so flat looking, like matte. It did add some shine to the base coat. Got all the things that are going to be obvious, you know, like I've been saying, this whole section here, this corner, the core support, even the front, the stuff you're not going to see behind the bumper I was able to get. I didn't really clear coat it all too well, but at least it does have color. But yeah, I honestly think it came out really good for basically a $20 engine bay paint job. Alright, if you like this video, as always, please like, subscribe, drop a comment below if you have any questions or want to see another video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Later.